I finished 35 games this year, and while just 7 of them were released in 2023, I enjoyed some truly fantastic games. Here are some of them now. There are still games from this past year that I'm eager to start or continue, like Final Fantasy XVI, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario RPG, Sea of Stars, For the King 2. This was an incredible year in gaming by any measure, and kudos to all the developers who created such fantastic experiences. Here are my 10 favorites, in no particular order, save for number 1. Horizon Forbidden West is some of the most fun I've had in an open world game in a long time, and we'll get to Zelda in a bit. The traversal and combat mechanics of Horizon Zero Dawn were already very solid, but with the addition of some quality of life features, the gliding, the full-on flight, and underwater sequences that were actually fun, I really want to go back and get the Platinum Trophy and just keep enjoying this game. On top of all the new stuff, including great new enemy designs, beautiful environments, what really stood out were the characters. Every single NPC from main quests to side errands has wonderful motion and facial capture, not to mention the voice acting. They honestly looked way too good for a game of this scope. And the Burning Shores expansion was more of the same great game with a new story, some added dimensions to Aloy's character, and the all-new Sky gameplay. There's just so much life and feeling put into every character in Horizon Forbidden West that it makes it worth meeting all of them. A truly incredible job by Insomniac. I wasn't exactly sure we'd ever see a Talis Principle 2. The first game was a wild, brain-twisting puzzle game with philosophical themes of what it means to be a person. And this time, the story revolves around 1,000 new humans, quote-unquote, born in New Jerusalem, a city of android humans, all with their own lives, hopes, and fears. So then in Talis Principle 2, you discover a megastructure and you join a team that investigates it. You soon find 12 surrounding areas to explore, all with fantastical architecture and, of course, puzzles to solve. There were a few that I had to return to multiple times over several hours or days before realizing the solution, and there were some wild solutions. I think it tells a decent story and has some of the best classic puzzle designs I've seen in a long time, much like Portal, but there are nearly 150 unique puzzles to solve. One downside to Talis Principle 2 is that while it's built on Unreal Engine 5, which allows for these beautiful graphics and massive open areas that look great, they're all just so big and typically not easy to navigate. There is no usable map in the game. Maybe the point was to hammer home the idea that what makes humans unique is our drive for discovery. Maybe. It still wasn't the easiest to get around. Otherwise, a top tier game with a final puzzle sequence that I was completely blown away by. Neon White is a game from designer Ben Esposito and continues his tradition of making weird and experimental games that are always great fun. Neon White is a speedrunner's dream, so as a washed-up speedrunner myself, it was great. You collect cards that serve double duty as your weaponry and also your moveset. A pistol card that can work as an extra jump, a rocket launcher that can double as a zipline launcher. You must defeat all enemies and reach the goal location to complete each level. Then the game says, pretty good, but can you do that in half the time? That's when your brain starts thinking about what you saw or what you could do differently to get you to the goal faster. And the leaderboard system really drives home that this is where the sauce is. Finding new routes or paths or using your cards in different ways than on your first or even your fifth level completion. Such a great set of systems in this game that all click together. The bosses really test your ability and don't deviate from the main gameplay. They're real tests of your skill. I really loved playing it on PS5, though I will say the game failed to launch half the time due to some game bug. Maybe not the best platform for that game, but even still, it was a lot of fun. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the kind of game that transcends defying expectations. After a handful of levels, I stopped trying to guess where the game was going next because I couldn't. Singing piranha plants, rampaging rhinos, talking flowers, that's just the first world. Secret exits are nothing new in a Mario game, and I think this game uses the Donkey Kong Country style of hiding secrets in plain sight to great effect. It nails the controls, the look and feel of what a 2D Mario game should be, and the music, which is perfectly fitting for a whimsical romp such as this. I loved how every music track has an elephant version, where the melody is given to a tuba or a bass synthesizer. Lots of little touches elevate this game over any new Super Mario Bros. Game. Clearly, the Mario team has still got plenty of new ideas. Looking forward to whatever they put out next. I played a lot of Metal Gear games this year. After only having played Metal Gear Solid 5 around its release time, I caught up with most of the canon Metal Gear games, save for MGS4 and Peace Walker, and I guess Revengeance, if you want to count that. Of all of those, Metal Gear Solid 2 really stood out to me. You get a little mini adventure as Solid Snake before transitioning to playing as Raiden. And I know people have feelings about Raiden as the primary lead character of this game. And I'll just say that after playing Metal Gear Solid 2, I do want to play Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance a whole lot. Metal Gear Solid 2 has well-realized characters given life by great voice actors, gameplay that actually improves on Metal Gear Solid's already competent foundation, perfect music, and an unforgettable ending. Metal Gear Solid 2 was far ahead of its time in 2001, and its themes of AI still resonate today. I would also like to mention Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake for releasing on the MSX2 computer in 1990 and being functionally the same game as 1998's Metal Gear Solid, just without all the memorable characters and fancy 3D graphics. But all the alert systems are in there, weapons, tools, persistent enemy positions, radar tracking, the bosses are great. They even nailed the helicopter fight somehow. Stealth is actually a thing here, unlike the rudimentary action of Metal Gear 1. It's amazing use of the technology of the time, and I was blown away by what they were able to do with that game. Let's talk about Civilization 6. I played a lot of Civ 5 back in the day. That was my first Civ game, and I loved it. I have now put more time into Civ 6 in just the past 6 months than I ever played of Civ 5. Probably because I played a lot with my friends online, and that takes a little longer. I think that religion really works well as a victory condition in Civ 6, being a layer over a top of everything else that's going on. The Rise and Fall and Gathering Storm expansions both add a new dimension to the game. The World Congress is an interesting, if sometimes toothless, addition to the game. This is still ultimately a game about having more resources than other players, be it oil or land, money, tourism, clout, etc. There are so many avenues to victory, and I'm sure I'll play more of it, trying new leaders and trying new strategies. Or, if only to hear more of the world's official anthem, Sogno di Volare by Christopher Tin. Alan Wake 2 is a fever dream, and another game that I didn't think we'd ever see. It's Inception meets David Lynch meets Resident Evil. Remedy Entertainment has again created something only possible within the medium of video games. It blurs the line between fiction and reality, carried by terrific performances from all its actors, including studio director Sam Lake flexing his acting muscles. At its core, Alan Wake 2 is a modern survival horror game, with a limited inventory, an assortment of weapons and ways to fight back, and its unique gimmick of using light to make enemies vulnerable returning from Alan Wake 1. What separates this, say, from the likes of Resident Evil and Silent Hill is a few things. It's less campy for sure. The tone is dark and serious. The lack of monster enemies and the wonderfully realized Pacific Northwest setting help make this game feel more grounded despite all of its surreal elements. The puzzle segments from Alan Wake 1 are not really present in Alan Wake 2 and instead are reworked in a more abstract way for both Saga and for Alan. There are a few sequences in this game that I will never forget. The We Sing chapter, which I'm still singing along to, Ati's karaoke performance, and of course the final standoff with... I really don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil these fantastic moments. Play Alan Wake 1 and Control before this if you can. They're both great games and give you some critical context for the events of Alan Wake 2. Keep doing what you're doing, Remedy. Your games always manage to top your last effort. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is one of the greatest achievements in Nintendo's history. This is one of the few games that is truly worth its $70 price tag. Take a game that reinvented what open world games could be and nearly triple the amount of area to explore, add totally new mechanics, including a free-form building system, new characters and stories. The freedom to make your own fun has never been surpassed, in my opinion. Tired of the main quest? Go launch some Koroks or fall down a hole and see what you find. Tired of delving in that cave? Ascend to somewhere you may not have been able to reach before. I enjoyed the fleshed out story mechanics and sequences. I didn't love all the temples, if you can even call them that. Now I know Aonuma-san said they would never return to an older style of Zelda, and that's fine. I just hope they also remember what made games like Ocarina and even Twilight Princess special. It's all there in Tears, it's just more scattered. There was something special about the Water Temple or the Ancient Cistern, a large interlocking puzzle with unique mechanics and systems specific to that area. I hope to play a sequence like those again in a Zelda game. For now, we're left with an incredible adventure with an appropriately challenging and satisfying ending that I won't soon forget. Pikmin IV is my favorite game that I completed this year. And I did complete it, nearly 100%, save for some random side missions. Having just played Pikmin 3, Pikmin 4 was the generational leap for Pikmin, similar to what we saw with Breath of the Wild. A back-to-basics approach, but greatly expanded in scope with more tools and Pikmin types, many unique maps and caves to explore, and Ochi. Any game with Ochi is now also the best game. Ochi was a game changer. Being able to consolidate all your Pikmin onto Ochi's back makes it, one, much more visually clear of what's happening on screen, and two, they won't veer off a cliff to their deaths all the time. With solid gameplay and many quality of life improvements, Dandori, or Dandori, is the real name of the game in Pikmin 4. Being able to efficiently manage your tasks, your Pikmin, Ochi, and yourself is no small task, especially in the challenge missions, the post-game, and the post-game. You've really got to hone your skills and know the ins and outs of each Pikmin type. Every single Pikmin game is now on Switch, and while I haven't played 1 and 2 in a while, I think Pikmin 4 is the best overall, as well as the best for people new to the series. And after 10 years, I'm very happy that this new Pikmin game isn't just another Pikmin game. I liked Pikmin 3 well enough, and I was also getting a little tired of the teammate system that Pikmin 2 introduced and Pikmin 3 ran with. This game stands toe-to-toe with some of the greatest real-time strategy games while still being unique in that space. Bravo, Nintendo, and thank you to the development team, and thank you to Miyamoto-san for pushing for a new entry in this goofy, fun, charming series. They really drove the Dandori to it. What was your favorite game that you played in 2023? Do let me know in the comments, and if you'd like my thoughts on a game that I played and didn't talk about, I'm happy to share. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming in 2024.